Alright, so this is I think part 4 on preparing the neck blank. I already took the liberty so I've taken it out of the vise. We have our scarf joint done, and then we've glued the materials to what will become the headstock. Okay, and I trimmed off excess all the way around so that we're ready to go on that end for the most part. I've got to square this up, and I'll do that here a little bit later. But on this end, I've got to make sure that I can put a heel block on there. So we're going to go ahead and do that portion. And let's bring you down so you can see the bench top, and we'll get you a little bit closer so that you can see what's going on here. Alright, so that'll give us a spot right there we can kind of work with. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to make sure that I get this shorter piece into enough to be able to make that heel block. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of set it up here. I need to find my 12th fret. Here's my 12th fret mark, okay? So my 12th fret mark is there. I'm going to go ahead and square that on the side. That's about where I'm going. Alright. About where my 12th fret will be. Use the same mark on both sides. Okay, squared mark. I have a line and a line. It's my 12th fret mark. Now, I need about 3 equal pieces out of this. And in all intents and purposes, I may only need 2, depending on how thick my neck blank is and how deep I need the body of the guitar that I'm building to be. Alright, so let's see. I need out there. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this. It doesn't have to be perfect. 2 smaller ones and a bigger one on the end if I need it. I don't think I will, but we'll try it. Alright, so these are rough. They don't even have to be exact because you're going to be cutting away a lot of excess once you get to that point. But that being the case, I've got myself a couple of lines there. I'm going to go ahead and cut them out and move from that point. Alright, so let's set up our area to do that. You can do this in whatever manner you want to. You can set it on the end of the bench and go that way. You know what? Before I do that, let's clean up these sides. Because I have kind of a rough saw here and a rough saw there. I want to make sure, and I put it on this part of the neck, which has already been planed flat, that I have a really good plane surface. So, in order to do that, I need a plane, which happens to be underneath my camera. So, if you'll just give me a moment. Alright, we've retrieved the plane from underneath. I just need a stop for this so that I can surface both of those 2 sides nice and square. Any old block of wood that's a little bit thinner than what I'm trying to plane will work. And then I need something to hold that wood in place. So, here we go. Nice and tight. That out of the way. Move my coffee so that I don't spill it everywhere. And we'll surface 2 sides of this. Okay, 1. 2. Clean up our bench. Let's do it this way. Generally, I would suggest using something to backstop this, however you want to do it. I'm just going to hold it in place. Another piece of wood so that I keep it from marring the top. These do not have to be exact. Finding my line and then cutting it with the saw as square as I can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. One. I don't have to move my board, it's already in place. If you want to make this go a little bit faster, or you want to make sure that it's a little bit more square, you are perfectly welcome to put your square up against that line and then take a blade of some sort. I would generally use a pocket knife, I don't have one on me. And if you score that along your line, you can make a good straight line and then take your blade and just make a little notch right next to that line, and that gives you a good starting point for your saw, and it will stay in line with what you've got. So I start there, makes starting the saw a lot easier because it will follow your groove you just put into it. So there you go, a little hint for the future if you need it. Out of the way, I've got my 3 pieces. Those will stack just like that. Don't know if I need all of them. We're going to get rid of all of that excess. Go. Now, because we went ahead and made sure those 2 sides were good and flat, all of these pieces fit nice and easy, no gaps anywhere. Okay, because we made sure they were good and flat. Now, I know the depth of my instrument needs to be around 87 millimeters. So if I stack 3 of these, I only get 80. That's not going to do. So I'm going to have to use another one. I need to get a little bit more than 87. So if you're working on your line here, right? So I've got my 12th fret marker here. I'm lining these pieces up so that they center on that line. I want 87 millimeters from the top of the neck blank to the bottom here. And I've got too much on the end. I've got too much by, oh, let's see, about 30 millimeters or so. So that's way too much. I'm going to use a different piece here. I need to have some there because you need to have that angle for where the body meets. So I'm going to take that piece out. We can use that piece somewhere else. It's a different species, and the grain goes the wrong way. It's too short. Okay, well, I'm going to have to punt on that here. We'll just go ahead and glue up these, and I'll glue up another piece later for that. Now, when I glue these up, I'm going to show, you can see where my line is here. That's my 12th fret line. I kind of want these to be centered on that because I need enough for the heel over here, and I need enough over here for the inside of the guitar, where that heel block sits and holds the sides in. Okay, if you put too much over here, you won't have enough for the heel. If you put too much over here, you won't have enough for that block in the middle. So put them in the middle. It's okay that they are not the same size. I'm going to try to center them up like this so that I have some angle on both sides, because I'll be cutting out a good U shape here, and this will be following that good slipper size. All right. Now, the way I do this is, again, with my blue tape. I'm going to tape up both sides. This is a good application for tight bond. And I've just dropped. What did I just drop? Yeah. Put that back in there. We don't need that to fall out. All right. So I pretty much have this centered up where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and tape around it so that it holds at least one side in. Do this side. Alright, so what that does is it gives me the ability to kind of splay this open and apply glue over both surfaces. So, start with this one. Nice, even. Now at this point, no pressure, right? Just got them all squared up. I have glue in the joint. I'm going to flip it this side right here. So this is the back side. I haven't put tape on this side. I'm putting tape on both sides. We're going to keep it together all the way around. And this is an application where your bench top is your friend. All right? Now I need a piece of wood to cover the top up here because I don't want to really mar that up. I'm going to be prepping that surface to hold the fretboard, but I don't necessarily want to have a whole bunch of divots in there that I have to get out or adjust once I get that fretboard in place. So, again, find yourself a good flat piece of wood. Doesn't have to be crazy thick. This one's about 3/4 of an inch. Find a spot on your bench, just like this. I like doing it this manner. You can put it in a clamp. Doesn't matter if you got a clamp, you got to put a caul on both sides. There we go. Ready to go. Now we just have to wait for that to dry real good before we mark out anything else.